Okay. All right, so we are going to start off by telling you guys what we've accomplished during our sprint 2. So this week our focus was on finding a guest speaker to present a training session, question and answer session for the teachers and the staff at the schools that decide to participate in it. So one of my good friends, she's one of the moms that we go to therapy together with our kids. Her name is Lana Gonzalez, and she's a director of children's services at Journeys, which is a developmental facility up in Idaho Falls. And they do a lot of really fun work up there with the kids. But she's also the founder of, it's a website called Idaho Parents Unlimited. And it's a website that gives you information on all sorts of training that can be provided and information for teachers, parents, pretty much anybody that wants to know more about special needs kids in any form of the special needs, not just necessarily autism. And she's also the mama of a beautiful special needs daughter. Anyway, some resources that I found for training and learning meeting for teachers. So one that's just specifically for people in Idaho is idahoautism.com, and they just have all sorts of links depending on the area in Idaho you live on for training meetings that you can do online for webinars. They have seminars that you can sign up for, and they have them listed in all sorts of different counties and cities. And all of this can be found online. It's pretty easy to access. As for the presentation outline, we didn't really do too much on that because Lana, and she does this, she goes around to a lot of schools already and does this, so she was pretty excited that we chose this for a project. She prefers to do her own presentations, so we didn't really worry about doing an outline, but what she covers is basically what we did in our first handout during our first sprint, just the basics of autism and what teachers and parents need to know, or what most of them are wanting to know. So that is what we did this last week. And when I talked to her, I just kind of checked her schedule, I guess, to see if I do decide to go through this for my son's schooling. I kind of have an idea of when she's available. She likes to do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays are her best days to do it. So that's kind of what we found out. So that's what we did, and now we're going to discuss what we're going to do for our next sprint. So over here we just kind of, I guess I have to reload the page, my goodness. Okay, perfect. So I've already moved everything around from, I put our second sprint over here. It's now done. All the assignments that we did were done. And so now what we are going to discuss, Kim and I, are the assignments that we need to do for this next sprint, which our last sprint that we're going to do is focus more in the classroom setting with the kids. All right. So what are your thoughts, Kim?
Is this the one that we had the idea of the grab bags?
Yes. Let me put that. That'll be the first one, because I think that'll be the most important part for the kids, is to do the grab bags with sensory focused toys. Just because, like, I know in my son's class right now, every morning that he walks in, I've brought a few things, and his teacher has kind of gotten a few things, just different random. Like, his favorite thing right now is the stretchy, spirally keychain thingies. I don't even know how to explain them. But he just walks in every morning. She's got this little bowl on her table that he goes over and picks out whatever he wants to just play with, but it helps him focus, you know. But the kids are constantly like, well, why does he get a toy? Or, you know, whatever. And so we've explained to him a little bit. It's not necessarily a toy. It's just it's a, you know, it helps him to focus. Yeah. So I thought it would be fun to just give him a little kind of the things that he likes. So not necessarily just things that he doesn't like, but what, you know, autistic kids tend to like, just which can change all the time. Yeah, so that one will be the that one will be the grab bags. And this one included, let's see what our stories were the classmates, family members. Oh yeah, okay. And as the child.
I think as a child, the grab bags is good for kind of knocking out both of those, actually.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that'll be a big one. And this one is the one where we kind of want to, I don't know necessarily that you'd have someone like Lana come in and do a presentation because she's more like adult focused. So either like for myself, I would go in and do it, but some parents like aren't comfortable doing those kind of things. But so just, and I don't even know if you'd necessarily do a presentation, but like, I guess what I was thinking is more of like hands-on learning.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Or
what's the word I'm looking for? Like stations kind of a thing.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. We kind of like rotate through different little stations and stuff.
Yeah, you could do that. And then rotating stations. So what kind of stations would you?
I'm trying to think, maybe just kind of a. I'm trying to think if we should do like a progressive stations or if like different sensory stations. And progressive, I'm thinking like this is kind of more their mind thinks in different ways, and that causes this, that, and the other. And sometimes they help it by, focusing with these sensory things in the next station, and the next station is, these are the ways that you can help with them, or like something progressive like that, or if you want to do like different senses of each one.
I kind of like that progressive one because kind of what I was thinking for the hands-on is like I know, it's been a while ago, but back before I even had Blake, I went to my nephew's school. They were having like an assembly, and anyways, he was young, and so I went with him, and they were doing it on special needs kids, but he goes to a lot bigger of a school. Anyways, but what they did, this lady came and she was kind of explaining to the kids, because she had talked about, how they might act different or why they might be upset with different things, but then she showed them how they see it, how the autistic kids see it. So like she would flash them with a bright light and then make a loud noise in their ear when it, and that's how they hear just normal everyday sounds and see normal everyday light. And it was really interesting. She even did it with some of the adults. And it was really overwhelming, like for the kids and the adults that did it. And like some of the kids were in tears by the time and they weren't doing anything horrible. It was just overwhelming. Yeah. And they would like all of a sudden grab them and move them somewhere and just make them distracted. And it was really awesome. And not that I want to like make the kids cry. I just thought it'd be interesting to just show them how they see things. So you could say, here you see a normal bright light. This is how they see it, or this is how you hear a sound, but this is how they hear it. So we could just do like station. Well, I guess we want to make these in a bunch of assignments. I guess we can. Station 1 can be like a sensory station of how autistic children see, hear, and view things, kind of something like that. And then what did you say for the next station or whatever? Which was stations in?
So kind of how they handle it. So like sometimes to help them focus on things, they have these sensory bags or whatever.
How the classmates can help their focus, or I'll just say help their autistic classmate function, maybe. In different, well, I guess I'll say in different settings, because it's funny how much of it they just pick up on their own. So it's getting towards the end of the school year. with my oldest, and he is obviously back in my kitchen where he's not supposed to be. So it's pretty loud. I apologize to everybody listening. Like they've already learned that like if it's raining or snowing outside, like he's not going to go outside, and they're okay with that, or they'll make sure that their teacher isn't going to send him outside. Like they look
Right.
out for each other and they pick things up. But I think it would be, a lot of them aren't going to be like, oh well, if they're having a meltdown or if they're scared of something, like they're not going to, so
Right.
that'll be a good station. So, and then on the third station, is that how many we were going to do? Is just 3?
I think so.
Okay. Third station. Trying to think of what else you'd want them to know. Wow, I didn't even finish that one. My goodness. You could do like a station on, well, I guess maybe not. It's kind of redundant on the other 2. I'm just trying to think of how to, maybe we only do 2 stations.
Okay, I don't know how else to...
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to think of the areas you want to cover with the kids. Like the sensory station is going to be a big one, and that's where the grab bags would come in, or you can just give them out at the end too. Probably is a better idea for kids. Otherwise, they'll be distracted with them.
Right.
And then, like, I think that's a big thing because that. Well, I guess on one of the stations you could just let them ask questions, maybe.
That's good. Let's do that one.
Because obviously they're going to ask questions the whole time because that's just kids. But
Right.
That can be after they've gone through the 2 things that are going to cover the majority of what we want them to understand. Then they might have questions.
Mm-hmm.
Just say question and answer, which we'll know what that means. But okay, so I think that covers. Pretty much. So this next week then for our what we'll be working on for this next sprint will just be I don't know, probably just like ideas. It's going to be hard to show whatever, that we're actually whatever. If we just kind of write up what
different kind of things we put in the
just
and...
that and like for station 1 we would just explain what we would do.
Yeah.
And for station 2 the same thing, just explaining. And then question and answer, that you can't really do much with that one because
right.
So if we just focus on those 2 stations and then what's going to be in the grab bags, then I think we should be good for next week. And I think that that should cover the kid because that's about as they're not going to be sitting through much more than that.
Right.
So anyways, okay, I think that will work.